There is so much noise in the real estate world these days. There are scary headlines all over the place with rates going up and prices are dropping and the world's going to end and we're heading into a recession and all the scary. So I wanted to talk to you today about 6 things that I think all buyers and sellers should know about today's market to really clear up whether you should buy or sell now or if you should wait. My name's Allison Can. I'm a real estate agent here in beautiful San Diego, California. Before we get started, please hit the subscribe button and that little bell so you get notified when I put out new content. And if you get anything valuable from this video, please give it a like so more people can find it. Okay, let's dive into the content. The first and most important thing to know is that interest rates are up. And if you haven't heard about that, then here you go. Interest rates are up. They were at like 3% at the beginning of the year. They're now at 7%. Unfortunately, that means that a lot of people have been priced out of the market or just don't want to pay the interest rates or whatever. And a lot of people have stopped their house hunt and just aren't doing it anymore. And it's a shame. Like, I really hate to see it. I've watched many people that I've been working with decide that they had to wait or preferred to wait. And I get it. Interest rates going up that high is really scary. The reality is that that's actually the average. We're like right at the average of the past like 30 years of interest rates right now. So they're not really exorbitantly high. I mean, in 1982, they were 16%. So we've seen a lot worse, but it is definitely a shock to the system from what we've had for the past couple of years, which we will potentially never go back to because those were pandemic rates that were only there to get us out of the crazy slump we went into in 2020. So don't expect for things to go back to that point, but rates will go back down. Now, I am filming this in the beginning of November of 2022, and the Fed just announced another 3/4 point rate hike. It didn't really impact mortgage rates because that had already been baked in because everyone knew that was coming. But I believe there's like 2 more potential rate hikes coming still through the end of the year. So mortgage rates could still tick up a little bit. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get to 8%. I've seen some people say 9. I don't know, but it is definitely possible. Here's what we do know though. At some point, inflation is going to drop. The country will likely go into an official recession, even though we're already probably technically in one, but an official recession. And in order to get out of it, the Fed is going to have to reverse their current policy. So they are going to have to start lowering interest rates back down. Most experts are expecting this to happen by mid to late next year. Just know that they are going to come back down. But in the interim before that, we may have a little more pain to go. If you can still buy though, if you can afford it, don't let the interest rate scare you, and here's why. The second thing is that prices are down. Because interest rates have gone up so much, prices have been coming down. Now they're down both because of interest rates and seasonality. Prices always go down towards the end of the year. That's nothing different this year. We're seeing the exact same thing. But if you are a savvy buyer and you can still afford to buy, this can be a great time to get a deal on a house. You can get a house at prices that you may never see again. The lowest they've been in the past year. So we're almost back down to like last year's prices. So if you wished you could turn back time, now's the time to turn back time. And even though you would be buying at a higher interest rate, you can refinance later when the interest rates go down. So you're not stuck with that high rate forever. You'll be paying a little bit extra for a few months, but it will get you in the market, and then you can ride the prices back up in the spring, because that happens every year. We see prices dip at the end of the year. They'll probably go down through December, maybe into January, and then by February, they start trending up. And this happens every year, and I don't expect that to be any different this time because most people move in the spring. So the demand will come back because there are going to be people who have to move. They just don't have a choice. And when I say that prices have gone down, let's be clear. They're down since the high earlier this year in April. They're still up from last year. It's not like the market has crashed. The market has done a little bit of a correction and a seasonality downturn. I know the next question might be, what if they keep going down? I really don't think they will. I think come February, we're going to start to see prices trending up again, just like they do every spring. I mean, even Dave Ramsey has said, buy now, don't wait. Buy now, don't wait for interest rates to go down. This is a really great time to get a deal. And I promise you, all of the savvy investors are doing exactly that. The third thing you need to know is that there is less competition now. For the past 2+ years, and quite honestly, even a lot before that, there have been bidding wars. But over the past couple of years, there have been like insane bidding wars, like 30 people bidding on a house, prices going up hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking, and buyers having to give up all of their protections, having no protection against a low appraisal. Sometimes they're giving up inspections, so they don't even know what they're getting into at the house. So if you didn't want to participate in the crazy bidding wars of the past couple of years, now is your time. Right now, buyers actually have some power. They can keep their protections in place. They can usually get a house for list price or under. Even if it is a bidding war, it's going like a little over list price, but barely. Like this isn't scary bidding wars. This is just the market being a kind of a normal market. If you are still thinking about buying with less competition can be hugely valuable, because not only can you keep your protections in place, you can get the seller to pay for things. You can get them to cover your closing costs so that you can keep more money in your pocket. All that money you've been saving for your down payment and your closing costs, what if you could keep $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 of that so that you could buy furniture, or just have a reserve account, or do some updates in the house, or whatever? Wouldn't that be awesome? Or what if that's not your biggest concern, but what if you do want to buy down the interest rate? There are ways we can do that, and we can get the seller to pay for it. This is happening all over the place. So having less competition is definitely a good thing. Keep that in mind if you are thinking about waiting. Once spring comes and once more people are back in the market, there will be more competition. And I promise you, the second rates start dropping, all of the buyers who may be just like you, who are sitting on the sidelines waiting for rates to come down, are all going to come rushing back into the market. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know that we're going to end up in the same craziness as before, but I promise you we will have lots more competition. Now is a good time to act. The fourth thing to know about today's market is there are more options. We have historically low inventory right now. Don't get me wrong. We are still not getting more homes on the market, but what we are getting are homes sitting longer. So instead of the house being listed on Friday, you went to see it in an open house on Saturday, you were putting in offers on Sunday, and they had to be presented on Monday, and every decision was made by Tuesday. Now, you might get to go see it a couple of times. You might get to see it one weekend, and it's still around the next weekend, and you get to go see it again. Or you missed it one weekend, so you go see it the next. Houses are sitting much longer than they have been, and that gives you more options as you are shopping, which is lovely, because then you are more likely to get a house that you really love. Also, because the competition isn't there snatching up all the houses you want, that house that you actually want, you can probably get. And this lack of inventory is exactly why most people don't think we'll have a housing crash. We have been low on inventory for years and years and years. And for the past, since 2019, we have just been seeing the number of houses on the market go down and down and down. They're not going back up. We don't know what's going to change that, because right now, most sellers are sitting on 2.75 interest rates, crazy low interest rates. They don't want to give it up, so they don't want to move. And housing prices have gone up, so they may not be able to afford anything else. And this is why they're not selling. So what is going to change that? I don't know. The high prices didn't change it. So I don't know what's going to change that. And until more homes are built, which we are behind on, like 3 or 4 million homes across the nation, this is still going to be a problem for years and years and years to come. Don't expect a massive housing crash, because as long as there is less supply than demand, prices are going to keep going up. And the reason that we have more demand is because millennials are at their key home buying age right now. They are buying a ton of homes, and the baby boomers are starting to downsize, and they're downsizing into the same homes that the first-time homebuyers want to buy. So there's a lot of competition in that lower price point because of that, which is making it even harder. The fifth thing you should know is don't expect a bunch of foreclosures. I know a lot of people are waiting for all the foreclosures to come on the market just like they did in 2008. It's not going to happen, and this is why. Homeowners have so much equity. Prices have gone up in San Diego over the past 5 years, 62%. They are sitting on a ton of equity. Nationwide, the average homeowner is sitting on $300,000 in equity. If they can't pay their mortgage, they're just going to sell the house, and they'll just take their $300,000 in equity and go live off of that until their situation improves. They're not going to get foreclosed on. And we're seeing currently foreclosures are still at really, really, really low rates. Even now that the protections that COVID gave people are gone, foreclosures didn't drastically go up. Banks want to work with people these days. They don't want to foreclose on houses. They really don't want to deal with it. It's a pain in the butt. So they're going to work with people rather than foreclosing, and most people will never even get there because they'll just sell their house. If you're waiting for all those foreclosures to hit the market, I'm afraid you're going to be waiting for a really long time. And the sixth thing that you need to know is if you are selling a home right now, pricing it properly is so important right now. You cannot overprice your house. Make sure that you are working with an agent who comes up with a pricing strategy with you to make sure that you are competitive in the market so that your house does not sit for months and months and develop a stigma. That is the last thing you want to have happen. So you need a strategy to make sure that you are priced properly, you are going to be compelling in this market, and your house will sell fairly quickly. You do likely also have to be a little more patient though, because instead of most homes selling in a weekend, they are taking a few weeks. That's fine, that's normal. It's not a big deal. So don't worry about it, but you need to price it so that it will sell in just a few weeks rather than a few months. The bottom line with all of this is you cannot get low prices and low interest rates. They work against each other. If you have low interest rates, you will have higher prices. If you have high interest rates, then you have the lower prices. They're going to offset each other. If you're waiting for the perfect time when there are both low prices and low interest rates, it doesn't exist, and you cannot time the market perfectly. If you are a first-time home buyer just waiting and waiting and waiting, you may wait to the point where you cannot get into the market. So don't wait, get in. If you're waiting because you need a bigger house and you want to make sure that you can sell your house for more money, just remember that when you do that, you'll get more money on your house, but your bigger, more expensive house will be even more expensive. So it can actually be a good idea to sell your house now and buy a bigger house at a lower price than you would pay at the height of spring, because then you're going to get a better discount on that house than what you would make up with a higher sale price of your lower priced house later. These are just some things for you to think about. It can be a great time to buy right now. It can also be a horrible time to buy right now. Everyone's situation is different, and you have to just think through all of the variables to decide what's best for you. If you would like somebody to help you think through this and figure out if now is the best time or if waiting makes more sense, I am happy to do that with you. Absolutely no pressure one way or the other. Just reach out, send me an email, or give me a call. Hope this helped. Please let me know if you have any questions down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this one, and check out my next video.